When you look at your life, the way you live it, many times you would have noticed that you are ruled by compulsive emotions. Today you really want to be peaceful. Today it happens to be your wife's birthday, your husband's something. You really want to make sure nothing goes wrong. That's the day just the anger rules you. Just comes out for no reason. So, these things people try to control for their whole lifetimes and nothing changes. The mechanics of the mind, the way the mind functions is just the way the karmic substance is. Because mind is just an accumulation. What kind of accumulation you have, that's how it functions. If one has to go beyond the limitations or beyond the compulsiveness that a certain type of accumulation creates within us, either one has to raise into a different level of awareness, consciousness, with which he can become free, or another way is he has to transform his energies. Raising to higher levels of consciousness generally is very deceptive. Everybody believes they're very high consciousness. If you put them to test and they'll fail miserably because the nature of the mind is such, it can deceive you till the end. People believe they have changed many times. Simply because their situations have become little more conducive, they have changed. If situations become extreme, again they're back to the same place. So transforming your energies is a more sure path, a more certain path, you're walking on solid ground. And all you need is a certain dedication and involvement in a certain practice. If one works sufficiently upon his energies, the right sense of understanding and guidance, if it is done, very easily one can get enlightened on the level of his energy. His energy will be enlightened. His consciousness might not have gone beyond, but his energies will be enlightened. This is something we have been doing in close groups of people for a long time. Shiva also has spoken about it. Shiva says, when the spinal thread is touched, a light begins to glow in and around you. If you place the whole attention on the Sushumna Nadi, and if it is properly touched, then it becomes alive and it glows. Once it glows, slowly the energy will mature within a very short period of time and energy will become enlightened. It glows. You have a glow of an enlightened being, but you don't have the consciousness of an enlightened being. If you stand, if you simply sit quietly, you are a powerful being. If you open your mouth, you're a fool. That's how you will be. But it's good to be this way because this is easy to achieve. This is easy to achieve, all you need is dedication, especially when I am around, this is very easy to do. If you just touch the spinal cord, it can just glow.
Whenever you hear the word enlightenment, a thought comes in your mind which says, enlightenment is not for me. It's only for a few people who are very advanced spiritual seekers. In other words, your mind is saying that enlightenment is only for the chosen few. Your mind convinces you that you are not eligible for enlightenment. I would say this is erroneous thinking. This is absolutely wrong thinking. This is a complete lie that your mind presents to you as a truth. Don't trust your mind. Don't believe your mind when it says enlightenment is not for you. Enlightenment is everyone's birthright. Anyone who has a human form is eligible for enlightenment. Anyone with a human form can rightfully claim enlightenment as his or her birthright. The question is not of eligibility. The question is whether you really want it or not. If you really want it, you will surely experience it. The deeper this wanting, the deeper this craving for enlightenment, the closer you will be to enlightenment. Your whole being must crave for enlightenment. Then that moment will not be far away when you will really experience it. There is another misconception that people entertain in their minds regarding enlightenment. They think that enlightenment is some superhuman achievement, and so it can be attained only by superhuman efforts. For enlightenment, you don't need superhuman efforts. What you need is sincere efforts. People have such misconceptions because they don't really know what enlightenment is. To put in the simplest of words, enlightenment is just another word for your real nature. It's just another word for the divine, conscious, real you. Enlightenment is nothing but the recognition of what you already are beyond this body-mind complex. It is the recognition of your divine essence which animates this body-mind complex. Once you recognize the misconceptions that you entertain in your mind, then the way towards enlightenment gets a lot shorter. It then becomes a lot easier. What do you then really need to get enlightened? On the spiritual path, the importance of doing things consciously cannot be overemphasized. If you are really serious about experiencing your divine conscious nature, then you have to start doing things consciously. You have to start doing things with awareness. Walk with awareness. Sit with awareness. Eat with awareness. Speak with awareness. You should even sleep with awareness. Just add awareness to whatever you do, and it will change the whole quality of the action and will bring you closer to your divine self. The only difference between you and any enlightened master is that of awareness only. They also live in this world and they do all that stuff that you do, but they do that consciously and not like a robot. You do things like a robot. There is no consciousness in what you do. Just look at the way you eat. Having finished your meal, you suddenly realize, oh, I ate my food, I didn't even know. You read the whole page of the book and suddenly you realize you don't even remember a word. That's how you lead your life, completely unconscious, completely unaware. You don't realize the power that lies behind conscious actions. Haven't you heard the accounts of Zen monks getting enlightened in the most bizarre fashion? Some got enlightened eating their food. Some got enlightened when they were drawing water from the well. Some when they were carrying wood to the monastery. It's not about the action that they were doing. It's about the consciousness with which they were doing those actions. They were total in what they were doing. And so, they got enlightened. Acceptance is the most important quality that every spiritual seeker must have if he or she wants to get enlightened. Without this quality, it's impossible to get enlightened. Acceptance immediately takes you beyond the mind, and it immediately transports you into the realm of the divine. But for this to happen, your acceptance must be total and complete. Adhiguru Shankaracharya says, accept what happens with you unconditionally, without even asking, why did it happen with me? Why does it always happen with me? When such questions don't arise in your mind, when things go wrong in your life, then know for sure that enlightenment is not far away, because your acceptance is total and complete. Acceptance, in other words, is surrender. Surrender to what happens with you. Don't think that you will become like a doormat if you accept and surrender to what happens. If somebody starts calling you names, what will you do? Will you also start abusing him or her? A true spiritual seeker will never do that. He or she will accept it unconditionally. And then, with this acceptance, will arise the right action. That action will have the power of your divine conscious nature, the power which can easily transform the person who abused you. Remember, right action always follows acceptance. Without acceptance, it will just be your reactions, which invariably makes the situation worse. So remain in the acceptance mode and do things consciously. And with these two things taken care of, enlightenment will be just round the corner.